Till now, we have discussed NP scattering at low energy, particularly an energy which is less than 10 mega electron volt. And we have also calculated that scattering cross section, that is differential scattering cross section and the total scattering cross section. And in the present lecture, our aim is to express the scattering cross section in case of low energy NP scattering in terms of a parameter which is called scattering length. Actually, two scientists named Fermi and Marshall introduced the concept of scattering length for the discussion of low energy NP scattering. Here I have just mentioned two important results which we have in fact find in the previous lectures, and these two results are needed to explore the idea of scattering length. So I have mentioned these two results here. Let us see the total scattering cross section in case of low energy NP scattering. We have found that it was sigma Sc equal to 4 pi by k square sine square delta naught. And at the same time, we have found the wave function outside the range of the nuclear force. When you say outside of the range, you know range of the nuclear force is denoted by R0. So this result holds for R greater than R0. And we have obtained the result that the wave function outside the range of the nuclear force is U of R. And this U of R is what? This is in fact R into psi naught. We have calculated psi naught in the previous lecture. And psi naught was found e to the power I delta naught sine kr plus delta naught over kr. And so this U of R will be equal to what? This R and R will be cancelled out, and the U of R, which is actually the wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force, is equal to e to the power I delta naught sine kr plus delta naught over k. In this expression, you know this k means what? K is me by h cross squares square root. So you can see this k is actually directly proportional to a square root of e. So it is in fact directly related to e, and so whenever we will impose a condition for k, that will mean the condition is for energy E. So in the previous lecture, we have, as I have mentioned you, we have already discussed the low energy NP scattering, and you have seen in that condition the scattering was in fact S wave scattering. Now let us introduce the idea of the scattering length, actually which was introduced by, as I have told you, two scientists Fermi and Marshall. In fact, when we say low energy, it means energy E is tending towards 0, and you know if E will tend to 0, K will also tend to 0. So first of all, we will define in this low energy region the scattering length, how it was defined by Fermi and Marshall. We will adopt that definition which was given by these two famous scientists. So a scattering length is denoted by A, and it is defined as, how it is defined? It is defined as A equal to limit k tends to 0 minus sine delta naught by k. This is actually the basic definition adopted by Fermi and Marshall. So remember this definition. This is just definition. This equation has no proof. This length was in fact defined in this way. Now, in the limiting condition, when you say k tends to 0, what will be the total scattering cross section? See the result for the total scattering cross section. In fact, in equation A, we have defined this scattering cross section, and let us now impose the limiting condition when k tends to 0 on this result. So after imposing that limiting condition, we will get the total scattering cross section when k tends to 0. And when you say k tends to 0, it means you are saying that E tends to 0. Energy is tending towards 0. So in the limiting condition, k tending towards 0, and that will mean E tends to 0. The total scattering cross section, we will just impose this limiting condition on the equation A. This will be limit k tends to 0 sigma SC, and this will be simply limit k tends to 0. Let us substitute the value of this sigma SC from that equation A, and you know this is in fact 4 pi over k square sine square delta naught. And we can write this equation in this particular manner. Let us write it as 4 pi limit k tends to 0 minus sine delta naught over k whole square. We can write like this. And you can see what is this? The term inside the square bracket is what? Actually, this is simply the scattering length, which I have denoted by the symbol A. And this is A, and so we can write it as 4 pi A square. And so you can see in the limiting condition, when k tends to 0, then the total scattering cross section sigma SC is equal to 4 pi A square. Let us say this is equation 2. This is in fact a most important equation. Here I have used the definition of the scattering length A, which is defined in equation 1, you can see, and so I have replaced this term inside the square bracket by A, and so our result is limit k tends to 0 sigma SC equal to 4 pi A square. Now see this result seriously and think what this result defined in equation 2 in fact indicates. If you will see it seriously, you can see that the total scattering cross section is just equal to area of a sphere of radius A. If we imagine a sphere of radius A, then the surface area of this sphere of radius A will be equal to 4 pi A square. So we can think that the scattering is just taking place from a hard sphere of radius a. And this is actually this fact is indicated by this equation 2. So we can say that the geometrical significance of this equation is that in the limit k tends to 0 or in the limiting condition of low energy, actually the scattering is taking place from a hard sphere surrounding the center of a scattering, or you can say a scattering center. And as you know, from the classical concept of the scattering cross section, actually the geometrical area which is equal to classically the total scattering cross section is not 4 pi a square, but that will be simply pi a square, that is a disk of radius a, area of a disk of radius a. So we can see that the two results, the quantum mechanical result and the classical result, differs here. So what the information we get, actually equation 2 indicates that in low energy scattering, it appears that scattering is due to a hard sphere, or you can say non-penetrable sphere. The projectile does not in fact penetrate through it. Hard sphere of radius a. So obviously you can see this quantity a has dimension of length, and this is why its name is a scattering length, dimension of length, and this implies its name a scattering length. But as I have told you that sigma sc is found to be pi a square, and classically this is the classical result, and when we apply the quantum mechanical concept, we find that this sigma sc is equal to what? This is 4 pi a square. This is in fact a quantum mechanical result. So this is quantum mechanically. You can see the quantum mechanical result actually is 4 times of the classical result. So why this is in fact different? Actually this is the quantum mechanical effect, and this quantum mechanical effect actually suggests that the diffraction is taking place at the boundary, and this gives rise to the large amount of small angle scattering. So this implies diffraction taking place at the boundaries give rise to large amount of a small angle scattering. A small angle scattering. Now let us see the limiting condition when you say k tends to 0 and its effect on the total scattering cross section. Now we know that the total scattering cross section, particularly in case of scattering of S wave, we have just mentioned above that this sigma SC is equal to 4 pi over k square sine square delta naught. And let us see, if k tends to 0 and delta naught is not equal to 0 or pi, and if delta naught is neither 0 nor pi, this implies sine delta naught will be not equal to 0. In that condition, what will be the value of this sigma SC? You can see from this result. This will be actually 4 pi into sine square delta naught, and this sine square delta naught will be a non-zero number, and divided by 0. Divided by 0 because we are considering that k is tending towards 0, and so the result will be infinite, and this infinite result is completely absurd, as the total scattering cross section can never be infinite. It means the scattering will take place from anywhere. So this is completely unphysical, or you can say absurd. It means whenever k will tend to 0, definitely delta naught should be either 0 or pi. So we can say if k tends to 0, then delta naught will tend to 0 or pi. So now let us consider when the delta naught tends to 0. So if k tends to 0, and in that condition delta naught also tends to 0. In fact, in this condition, what will be the scattering length A, which we have defined above? You know the definition of A is what? This is limit k tends to 0 minus sine delta naught by k, and we have assumed that when k tends to 0, then delta naught is also tending towards 0, and you know if delta naught will tend to 0, then sine delta naught will be simply equal to delta naught, and so this will be simply equal to minus delta naught over k, and say this is equation 3. So in this limiting condition, that is the condition of very low incident energy of neutron, the scattering length is actually equal to minus delta naught over k. Now let us see, in this limiting condition, that is at very low incident neutron energy, what is the wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force, which just I have defined this wave function in this equation. Let us see in equation B. What will be this wave function u of r, which is in fact wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force in the limiting condition when k tends to 0. Our aim is to find now this wave function. So you can see in the limiting condition limiting condition k tends to 0, the wave function in the region r greater than r naught. What will be this? Let us write this: limit k tends to 0 u of r, and this will be actually limit k tends to 0. You know this u of r is what? This is in fact r into psi naught. And we know this u of r or r into psi naught is what? We have just mentioned earlier. This will be limit k tends to 0 e to the power I delta naught sine kr plus delta naught over k. Now, when you say that k tends to 0, then this, in fact, in this condition, we have mentioned that this delta naught will be actually equal to either 0 or pi. So, if we take delta naught equal to 0, in that condition, not equal to 0 but tending towards 0, in that condition you can say when delta naught tends to 0, then e to the power I delta naught, this is actually cos delta naught plus I sine delta naught, and this will be, as delta naught is tending towards 0, so this will be 1 and this is 0, and so this will be 1. And at the same time, since the argument of this sine function kr plus delta naught is very small, so you can write it simply kr plus delta naught, and therefore we can write limit k tends to 0 u of r will be simply equal to kr plus delta naught divided by k, and this will be, if you will divide the both terms separately by this k, the result will be r plus delta naught by k. But you know from the definition of a scattering length that A is actually equal to minus delta naught by k. So instead of this delta naught by k, we can write minus a. So finally we will get that limit k tends to 0 u of r is equal to what? This will be r minus a. Say this is equation 4. So we have obtained a very important result, limit k tends to 0 u of r equal to r minus a, and actually this u of r, you know, is the wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force. Now if we take this delta naught tending towards pi, in fact in this condition the result will be what? This will be limit k tends to 0 u of r equal to, we can write e to the power I pi into kr plus delta naught by k, and e to the power I pi, this will be in fact minus 1. As you can see, e to the power I pi will be equal to what? This is cos pi plus I sin pi, and this is minus 1 plus 0, and so this is minus 1. And hence we can write that limit k tending towards 0, u of r is equal to minus. Let us again divide this these two terms by k, and let us substitute minus a at the place of delta naught by k. So this result will be simply minus r minus a. And what will be the equation number? This is in fact equation 5. So what you are seeing here, you can see that this value of limit k tends to 0 u of r is either r minus a or minus r minus a. So from these two results we can write that limit k tends to 0, u of r is equal to plus minus r minus a. Actually, this equation is a simple graphical interpretation of a scattering length a. You can see this equation 6 is simply a equation of a straight line for this function u of r. So this implies equation of a straight line for u of r. Now in fact we will plot this function u of r in against of r. First of all, I am just plotting it, and then after that I will just explain that graphical plot. So in fact there will be two graphical plot for the function u of r, and let us see the graphical plot of the function u of r in against of r. I am just first of all plotting it, and after that I will interpret both of the graphs. Let us see. I am just taking the r on this horizontal axis and the function u of r on the vertical axis. You know, actually this is a potential well, and here this point is r equal to r naught. It means this is range of the nuclear force, and this is width of this potential well. And this function which we have defined in equation 6 is actually the wave function for this NP system outside of this range. That is, in this region we will in fact write the value of that u of r. Actually, inside the potential well, you know, that is when r is less than r naught, then the wave function is in fact sinusoidal, or you can say oscillatory. So actually in this figure A, when we will take the value of the scattering length positive, in that condition the graphical plot will be like this, and outside of this r naught, you know, the graphical plot will be actually a straight line, and so this will be just a straight line, and the intercept of this line on r-axis gives the positive value of the scattering length. This is actually plus A, which gives the value of a scattering length or positive scattering length. I am just going to interpret the positive and negative sign, what in fact these positive and negative sign of a scattering length indicate. I am just going to explain it. First of all, I have told you we are going to just plot it, and after plotting we will explain that. So let us now see the another plot. This is another graphical plot. Again, on the horizontal axis we have taken R, on vertical axis we have taken U of R. Now, when actually the scattering length will be taken negative, in that condition we will see again the straight line will be outside of the range of the nuclear force, and this is in fact range. This is R0, and so the plot is like this. This is in fact a straight line. This is a straight line. And here the intercept on r-axis, this is in fact towards minus infinity, and this intercept is actually equal to minus A. So you can see that the scattering length A is the intercept on r-axis, and after this graphical plot, certainly a question has arises in your mind that why we take the positive and negative sign before the scattering length, or in other words you can say what is the significance of attaching a positive sign or a negative sign with the scattering length. What is its physical significance? In fact, you know that when we will see the figure A, let us see, if we will see the figure A, then we find that a positive scattering length is here, that is equal to A, and in figure B, in fact negative scattering length is minus A. Actually, this positive scattering length indicates a bond state. And so this figure A represents, you can say, positive scattering length indicates a bond state. And the negative scattering length actually indicates an unbound state or not a bound state, you can say. So negative scattering length indicates unbound state. But how? How we are concluding this? Let us see, or you can remember the deuteron problem. In deuteron problem, you know how the wave function inside the potential well and outside of the potential well was varying or changing with R. If you remember the deuteron problem, you will find that in fact in case of the bond state of NP system or the deuteron, the wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force was exponentially decaying. So the deuteron wave function, and when you say deuteron wave function, it means you are talking about the bond state wave function. So the deuteron wave function for the bond state of NP system in the region R greater than R naught. Remember this. What was the function? Remember, this was actually U of R equal to a constant C e to the power minus gamma into R. And in fact, this result is for the region, as I have mentioned earlier here. This is for R greater than R naught. And in this expression, this gamma is what? This gamma is actually equal to MEB over H cross squares square root, and it is a positive constant. So you can see in the ground state of deuteron, the wave function outside of the potential well, and when you say outside of the potential well, it means you are talking about the region which is outside of the range of the nuclear force. The wave function is actually exponentially decaying. Actually, we have seen in that case that the wave function was just varying like this. This was just varying like this. This is actually the exponentially decaying part in this case. Here is U of R and here is R naught, and this is inside the well, and inside the well the wave function was in fact sinusoidally varying, and outside of the well or the range of nuclear force is what it was exponentially decaying. So you can see in this case that the exponentially decaying in the decaying nature of the wave function in the region R greater than R naught. So the wave function for the bond state of NP system must curve towards the R axis. And so in this figure A, you can see the curve is just tending towards the R axis, and so definitely this figure A, when the scattering length is positive, represents or indicates the bond state of the system. And so the extrapolation of the wave function outside of the nuclear force range, that is R greater than R naught, will give rise to a positive intercept, you can say, on the R axis, and this indicates that the scattering length will be positive. So the basic fact is what I have told you is that the positive scattering length indicates a bond state. And on the other hand, you know from that deuteron problem that in unbound state the wave function has to match with an increasing solution in the region R greater than R naught. As you can see here, the wave function is increasing and if the system is unbound, and so in this case the solution in the region R greater than R naught will be definitely in such a fashion that after extrapolation of U of R, it will produce a negative intercept on the R axis. and so the scattering length will be negative. And so you can say, when we say that a scattering length is positive, it means we are talking about the bond state. And when you say that a scattering length is negative, it indicates the unbound state of our system. So these are the physical significances of the positive and negative sign before the scattering length. You can see. In fact, till now we have just discussed the scattering length in the limiting condition when we have considered that k is tending towards 0, and when we say k is tending towards 0, it means we are saying that E is tending towards 0. Our discussion is based on this limiting condition. But you should note here that the scattering length concept can also be extended to energy other than 0. That is, we can take all values of k, that is including k equal to 0 and non-zero value, we can include and find and define the scattering cross section. And define the scattering length, not a scattering cross section, but a scattering length. Actually, when we consider the non-zero value of k, in that condition, a scattering length depends will certainly depend on k, and it is defined in that condition in another fashion. So if k is equal to k in general, it means it may be 0 or may not be 0. In general, that is, k may tend to 0 or not tend to 0. Both possibilities are here. So when we in fact in general take k is equal to k, then how we will define the scattering length? In this condition, a scattering length is defined as I have told you, in this case a scattering length will be a function of energy, or you can say it will be a function of k. So we write the symbol A of k. It indicates that A is a function of k, and it is defined as minus tan delta naught over k. See the difference. Actually, we have defined A in this fashion: when k tends to 0, limit k tends to 0 minus sine delta naught by k. But this definition is valid when k tends to 0. But if in general we take k is not 0 but k is equal to k, in that condition a scattering length depends on the value of k or on the value of energy of the striking neutron. And in this condition we define this A of k in this manner: A of k equal to minus tan delta naught over k. What will be the equation number? You can see that we should write it equation 7. Say this is equation 7. Now you can check, as I have told you, this definition is valid for all values of k including 0. So we can check it that if we impose the condition k tends to 0, then it follows the previous definition or not. We can check it. So check it. If k tends to 0, then A of k will be equal to limit k tends to 0 a of k, and this will be limit k tends to 0 minus tan delta naught by k. And you know, when k will tend to 0, delta naught will also tend to 0. And when delta naught will tend to 0, then we can write this tan delta naught simply delta naught. And so our result will be minus delta naught by k. And you know, in this limiting condition, actually, this is the definition of the scattering length. So, this definition of a scattering length for all values of k is followed when we take this limiting condition k tends to 0. So, we can define the scattering length in general for all values of k in the manner defined in equation 7. And now in this condition, when we consider the scattering length is energy dependent or it is a function of k, in that condition, what will be the total scattering cross section? We can calculate. So, total scattering cross section. Total scattering cross section. We know that sigma SC is equal to what? In general, we know this is 4 pi by k square sine square delta naught. And we can write it 4 pi over k square into 1 over cosec square delta naught. And you can write it 4 pi by k square into 1 over 1 plus cot square delta naught. It is just a trigonometrical formula, you know it. And further we can simplify this result. This sigma SC will be equal to 4 pi by k square into 1 over 1 plus cot square delta naught can be written as 1 over tan square delta naught. And see the definition, this A of k is equal to what? In general, this is minus tan delta naught over k. And so we can write tan delta naught equal to minus A into k. Just I have dropped this dependence of A on k, but remember this A depends on k. This is minus ak. So let us substitute the value of this tan delta naught, which is equal to minus ak, in this equation. So you can write this sigma SC is equal to 4 pi over k square into 1 over 1 plus 1 by a square k square. Now if we will multiply by this factor k square, what will be our result? You can see this will be sigma SC equal to 4 pi over k square plus 1 over a square. This a also depends on k, you know. So if we consider the general situation, that is, we do not take the limiting condition that k tends to 0, but we consider the situation for all values of k, in that condition the total scattering cross section is actually energy dependent, k dependent, and this a, which is in fact a scattering length, also depends on k. But again you can see, if we know the scattering length, we can find this total scattering cross section. So this is in fact the situation when we consider that k has a general value not 0. Again you can check this result. In fact this will be equation number 8, and let us check this in the limiting condition when k tends to 0. So you can take, if k tends to 0, then see what will be this result. This sigma sc will be what? This will be simply 4 pi by 1 by a square, because we will take this value k 0, and this will be simply 4 pi a square. And this result we have already found just now previously in this limiting condition. So in general, when you say k is equal to k, sigma sc is this much, and when we take the limiting condition k tends to 0, then sigma sc is 4 pi a square, which we have already discussed earlier. So from this discussion, we see that we can find the scattering parameters, that is the scattering cross section and the wave function outside of the range of the nuclear force in terms of this scattering parameter, which is called a scattering length. And this equation, the equations obtained in this discussion also shows that the knowledge of a single parameter, which is in fact a of k, is sufficient to deal with the S wave scattering completely. If we know this scattering length, we can deal the low energy NP scattering completely. So this scattering length is a most important parameter to discuss the low energy NP scattering. So this is all about the scattering length. We will meet together in another lecture with